Hello and welcome to A Young Man's Guide to Life, podcast 9. I'm here again with Obodai Tetteh to talk about the martial art Krav Maga today. Hey man, how you doing?
How you doing, man? Nice to be back. Nice to be back.
It's good. I'm excited to talk about this. So I wanted to ask you to maybe explain to everyone, who are you and what do you do and where do you teach? Because this is, if you look on Instagram or TikTok, you'll see that you do urban Krav Maga, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Right. So I am. Most people refer to me as Nev. I like to go by my traditional name, which is Obodai Tetteh, as you see on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I am the chief instructor of IntelligentDefence, which is I'll say a combat martial arts type school, concentrates more on the self-defense aspect of martial art.
Cool.
So yeah, not traditional martial art per se, but all combat sports, self-defense. I'm from a martial art traditional background anyway, traditional martial arts background. But yeah, being introduced to things like what we're going to talk about today, which is Krav Maga, it changed my mindset. So a few real life situations also changed. No, I wouldn't even say changed my mindset, but tailored and nuanced my mindset. So I like to concentrate on self-defense.
That's good, because I noticed in your videos you're not wearing like a gi, you're not wearing like traditional Chinese clothes or Japanese clothes. You're wearing normal street clothes, and you've got videos of people, sometimes women, sometimes guys, being like attacked, and then they're getting out of the attack. So that I can see that it's urban, the stuff I've seen of you recently. But what is Krav Maga generally, like, for the people that don't know? Because I've heard of it, I don't know if I fully know exactly what it means.
Do you know what? I'm just gonna I got my this is one of my grimoires. I've got different workouts in there. It's one of my daily planners things, and I've got some little post-its of stuff, right? And then the rest would be stuff that this is one of the books that I used to teach, right? So I'll use, so a Krav Maga originally, and this is what I teach people who come to the class as well, because you can get this information on Wikipedia, any book on Krav Maga, and if you practice any Krav Maga, which there are many forms of, you'll get a form of this information, which is generally the same.
Okay.
Imi Litchenfield is the founder.
Right.
Early 90s. So written history will date it back to maybe 1930s, early to mid 1930s. His dad was a police chief in Bratislava, Czechoslovakia.
Mm-hmm.
He was also a wrestler, did loads of sports, and he taught the police force self-defense.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So he embedded in me from early wrestling, judo. He was an athlete, right? But he was really good at judo and wrestling and stuff. But he formed Urban Krav Maga actually to help defend the Jewish quarter at the time in Bratislava against young fascist teen groups.
Right. Okay.
Who would roll around, picking on the weak, not those like himself who are trained and that's where Krav Maga actually came from.
Oh, right.
Krav Maga, don't quote me, I'll come back to you on that on another podcast of the Israeli definition of Krav Maga, as in like a word, two words
it means
put
something.
Together.
Got it.
Right? And it's lost, man. I don't want to misquote either.
Yeah.
But when he migrated to Israel,
right,
with his family or whatever, then he started teaching the military, Israeli Defense Force. Then it was modified, and it's big time. It started. So now you've got military, you've got security personnel style type Krav Maga, and then what is spread to the world, what we know, is supposed to be civilian because we're civilians, right? And you'll be
course.
teaching civilians. And if you're teaching the police, then you'll be teaching them more the security personnel style Krav Maga.
Yeah,
but
gotcha.
it's not about fighting. Defending yourself isn't about fighting. It's about stopping something completely.
Yeah.
Fighting is different. So, like you mentioned earlier on, you see in the videos, or not wearing gis or anything, doesn't mean that I don't go and practice judo and wear a gi.
I know, I've seen you do that as well.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Or I don't go and put on shorts, wraps, gum shield, and gloves and go to boxing and get punched in the face and try to do the same to someone else. Because that side of, which I'm sure we'll talk about in another podcast, that side of sport, combative sport and traditional martial art also has its place in keeping you a fit enough person to run away.
Yeah, which is
a fit enough person to not a fit enough person to run away, a mentally stable and having mental fortitude enough to know when to pipe down and de-escalate a situation. Because you may have significant others with you who may not be able to perform how you perform, and also may not be able to run how you may run, or may not have the expertise to see certain telltale signs. So
we talked about that last time, didn't we?
Yeah, that becomes, so that is also part of Krav Maga.
Right. So I see what you're saying though. You want to keep it separate from traditional ones,
of knowing,
combat ones, and,
right?
Things like
this. So it's really good that you asked what is Krav Maga.
Yes.
When you trickle it down from the Israeli Defense Force, you'll have a Krav Maga instructor who's a CrossFit teacher. So most of his classes will have generic Krav Maga techniques, which are actually built to build someone up to be able to defend themselves efficiently in the shortest amount of time.
Got it. So
as opposed to spending, like I did, 7 years practicing karate, then another so many years and working, because, especially when it started off with the military style Krav Maga, you take soldiers, new recruits who've done whatever training there, and when you want to give them this and make them proficient to go on the front lines in, I don't know, a month.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
So it's those tactics. So Krav Maga, you will find wrestling techniques in there. You will find a few judo sweeps in there. You will find boxing style techniques in there. But for example, the most high volume techniques, like for example, in boxing, there's a high percentage technique that almost everyone uses. And if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone uses the jab and the cross.
Yeah. First thing you learn.
It's high volume. It works. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You'll find that in Krav Maga. You'll find palm strikes, which will be from different tactics. But it's all about, all about finishing the situation.
Got it.
Breaking someone's will to want to attack you.
Got it. So defend yourself in a way.
Defend yourself. In some books, there's some of the Krav Maga books. It's like this book by Haim Gideon, who was one of Imi's top students for over 20 years. He officially became Imi Lichtenfield's successor to Krav Maga in 1996. I can't remember the month, but in 1996.
So it's like the lineage then.
That's it. Yeah. And it's about some terms you will hear in Krav Maga, which I'm just saying these things because they give an explanation of. I know it's a long conversation, but
you hear a lot of this stuff around. So it'd be nice to hear what
simultaneous. Simultaneous defense and attack. So like counter assault.
Yeah.
Counter assault. There's no, even though it's coined self-defense, that's why it's Krav Maga. I wish I had taken notes on what the word Krav and Maga mean.
We can look that up.
You can look it up in a second. But you'll hear things like focus on vulnerable points. So we will take, like I said, the best way to throw a punch from boxing, and teach you now, if you're going to use that, it has to be efficient. If it trickles it down and you go back to what we said earlier, it started with protecting weaker people in the Jewish quarter against younger, more fitter, more adrenalized, young fascist teens who have just unfortunately got a certain mindset. You can't afford to throw a boxing combo. And treat it like it's a boxing round, because after that, 6 of his friends are going to drag you to the ground and stomp your face
off.
Trouble. And you're an older person.
So let me translate that a little bit. In boxing, you do jab because you're doing high volume jabs to score points. You go for head or body because it's easier surface area. But in Krav, you might do the same jab, but to like the throat or to something weaker to stop anything going so you can run away. Is that what we're kind of talking about?
Not so you've got what you're saying, not wrong. What you're saying, but that's not what I was getting at. What I was getting at is like for example, let's take judo. Right? If you watch judo tournaments, like go and watch Olympics, there are certain throws and sweeps and trips that are consistent across the weight category, across the countries that not always work, but have a higher percentage chance of working. Now, you take that, which is, it's so high volume that everyone uses it, even when they don't get it. They get it sometimes.
And it still works somehow by luck.
That is now something that you could take into a real situation, and if you've practiced it with the intent not to score a point or an ippon, but to hit someone with the weight of the world so they stop trying to attack you.
So you can get away to safety or whatever.
Right. That is a technique that you can take and practice and put it into. So the videos that you see us doing, it's pressure testing. So
So when you're stressed.
Yeah, you kind of stress test. You stress them. Not so much tiring people out. Overload the senses.
Like in real life, then basically.
Like how it would be. Because this is the problem with, not the problem, but when you don't understand what you're training and why you're training it. So if you're training traditional martial arts, yes, there's an element of self-protection to it, but that involves, most of the time, the mentality involves fighting.
With rules and things.
Which is not self-defense.
Correct.
Whether there are rules or not, it's still fighting.
Got it.
The mentality is a fight.
Self-defense is different to fighting.
It's different.
Yes.
The mentality you need to take is, you want to make me a victim, but this battle will turn into a hunt where you're now my prey. But do you understand?
You put it really well. I like that.
That's the mentality. So, so Krav Maga is more, it's like that. It teaches you analyzing things. There are certain things that building blocks that that's how Krav Maga, because I started off with, was it IKKF? There are many organizations under it, and that's how you have so many, I wouldn't say charlatans, but so many Kravists or so-called Kravists who are teaching Krav Maga, which is from the IDF, the military, Israeli military system, to civilians. But no, you're not teaching a military system, you're teaching the civilian version. Because otherwise, you'll be teaching people
how to kill people,
to do manslaughter, and not teaching people how to. So that's how I got into urban Krav Maga. which is under the British Combat Association.
Right. Yeah. This is how I know you're a good teacher, because you're not just telling people go and kill. This is good.
No, you can't. There's a level of responsibility.
Yeah, of course.
And that's so the Urban Krav Maga is a British organization.
Okay.
Stuart McGill was my chief instructor. He still is actually, and Leon Nagel, who's actually a Brazilian Vale-Tudo Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, who's been teaching, competing for years. Yeah. They team together and are registered under the British Combat Association. Peter Constantine and Jeff Thompson, you may have heard of. You guys check them out. Yeah. Now it's just Peter. Jeff's doing his own thing, and the reason I veered more to that is because the city and the country, I actually live in London. The country is the UK. Yeah. They understand. Well, the guys who I started training with, Dave Woodcock, who introduced me to these guys. He recommended me to go on the training course, and he's like, no, really good guy. But he was a man after my own heart. He was a traditional karate guy who was like a hard man. But taught Krav Maga. Like everyone in the organization was, when you mention his name, it's like, oh fuck, you training with Dave Woodcock? The two Davids who were in Urban Krav Maga at the time, Dave Hydra from Wood Green. They were like, when you mentioned their names, but what Stuart and these guys had that more made me stop testing out Systema and this Krav Maga and that Krav Maga. Yeah. And I'm not saying they don't work, but here in London, the ones I had access to were all peddling to me. And remember, I'm a long time martial artist who's lived a certain life around, I wouldn't say goons or gangsters or anything, but people who know how to fight and who have done no martial art
in their life.
So
people go through the whole life without anything happening.
Yeah,
I know you haven't had that.
The fact that my traditional martial arts at times failed me, and I had to rely on animal instinct to survive, like bite a piece of chunk out of someone's arm and spit it at them just to get away. This is when my mindset started changing. Like, hold on a second, because there's no time to manage distance, for a couple of check kicks here and there. When all the martial arts that you've done, wrist locks, finger locks, eye pokes, whatever it is. You see, and I can say this because I've experienced it. Not at a really, really dangerous level like Chopper or anything like that. But I've experienced it where when you've got someone who's adrenalized, is really fucking pissed off with you because they feel like you've slighted them or disrespected them in front of their goons, and they're coming at you like a fucking bull that's been antagonized and they've been sending out to a matador. I'm telling you, you see all the finger locks and the eye pokes.
Training goes out the window.
Do shit. I've seen people take bricks to the head, shake it off,
and keep coming at you.
Take out the thing. Do you understand? That's when you need to understand. I'm not. But if we fight, someone's coming off hurt.
Yeah, of course. So I was going to ask you, I was going to say, like, on the down low, does this really work then? But from what you've just said, because even traditional martial arts, when you're under pressure or someone's really on it, goes out the window. So what you're saying is, in Krav, you're learning stuff and you're stress testing people. So I've seen it on your videos, which I think is really good, because some of the people you're teaching have never had any altercation in their life ever. So they're not going to be in any mindset other than panic when they get attacked. So if you're practicing attacking them in a controlled environment, and they practice techniques which will have a higher percentage of working so they can get away, that is the element of self-defense. That's the essence of self-defense. So I think that's what you're saying, isn't it? That's how
that is what I'm saying. This was the I keep going on about Urban Krav Maga, but that's kind of what it did help mold, where my whole martial arts life went from that part on.
Got it.
And the premise was not just learning all these Krav Maga techniques, but people come in who, like myself, have done martial arts for years. A good instructor will notice that and be able to teach, you know, give you a level of building blocks that, you know, your attributes that you brought in will help you. Right. But Krav Maga is meant to be not just generic, like the generic stuff that works, which is more natural stuff. Like, for example, when you've never not learned how to fight and someone goes like this to slap you, a natural reaction would be, oh, flinch, or, So that may be taken and you use certain, you know, drills and builder blocks to use you to turn that into something that could get you into a better position. You gain an advantage and maintain that until it's done. But the goal is not to have a 2-minute fight, not even a 30-second. Jeff Thompson had this thing in one video from years ago in some book. It talks about the 3-second fighter. I.e., you finish it immediately. So this is from one of my things that I teach people, and again, it's invoked and through everything that I've done with urban Krav Maga, and I teach this to the guys a lot. Use the simplest, most efficient means to finish a situation.
Nice, gotcha.
With as much poise and control that you can.
Granted.
Your ace and your premise should be surprise, element of surprise or surprise, speed, and violence of action.
Got it.
Just like a SWAT team.
Gotcha. Because I was going to ask you, because I was going to ask you, because like, how do you, when you're teaching it in intelligent defense, and in your school, and when you're teaching people, I was going to say, how can you practice if it's sometimes deadly? But what you've explained in urban Krav Maga, it's not deadly. It's swift. It's surprising. It's making the most chance of doing something quick to get out, and that's important. Because in my head, it was all about ripping people's throats out.
You mustn't forget, though, during the times when Imi Lichtenfield came with Krav Maga, the whole original idea, it is meant to be deadly.
For the
it
army.
Is meant to be deadly, but in here first.
Got it.
So you know when it's meant to say, like, for example, I got a walking cane and I might not be really, really old, but I need a walking assist, i.e. a cane, a walking cane.
Sure.
And someone's gonna do something to me. Right? Does it make sense? Because I practice Krav Maga, I used to be a martial artist, for me to now use my cane and start doing loads of things? Or does it make sense to me to make this person still feel like they've got the upper hand and I need this assist, and then when they get close, quickly poke him in the throat and then hit him in the collarbone or hit him in the knee, so he doesn't continue
to after you. Gotcha, I understand.
Because if I need a walking assist, I ain't running nowhere.
No, you can't run, so you got to do something.
So when I want to make my way out of this situation completely or out of the vicinity, I can't have this person being able to chase me because I ain't going to get far.
Exactly. So you're working with the person as well. If they're small, if they got a stick, if they do that naturally, you work with the natural.
What do you work with, and what are you able to use? But what urban Krav Maga guys taught me, and I know this from just living. You can't just do some physical violence to someone and always get away and be able to just tell the story. Sometimes you have to articulate to the law because you can't get away. Or you can't leave because, again, you might have significant others with you. A significant person that was with you might be hurt and can't, whatever. How do you justify
to the police.
The level of force that you use, and that you really felt threatened.
Gotcha.
When in this day and age, when someone's going to do they're going to do an investigation of you, they got a whole team going through your socials, building a whole profile on you.
Really?
To find out that you visit the boxing gym, you do karate, this that. Right. So now, even though this person may have brandished a knife to you, or said to you, "Give me what you fucking got," and they might not have nothing to do with that history.
Yeah, got it.
Now you've just broken his leg. Do you understand?
You've had them.
Right. So your self-defense instructor, whether it's Krav Maga, Urban Krav Maga, Systema self-defense, whatever it is, if it's going to be used in a self-defense context, you also have to program your students to understand what you're learning, right? Understand the city that you live in, the countries that you travel to, understand the self-defense laws, because there are self-defense laws.
And we're going to speak about that in another week, aren't we?
We're going to speak about
because I think that's an important one for people to know.
You know, it's an important responsibility for teaching Krav Maga. Also, if you're teaching and you know your students can't question what you're teaching. Does this work? Have you used this? Have you used this before for it to work? Have you seen it used? And you've got them people coming back because they're doing Krav Maga every weekend, and there might be elements of combatives or martial arts in there, but it might not be actual intelligently defending yourself. Is that
why you called your company Intelligent Defence then?
That's why I called it intelligent, because you have to know how to do things. If you've got a weapon of opportunity on you, you know, I like to carry a torch. Right? Which is legal. It's not a weapon. But it can carry weapon attributes. It can also help me find my keys if I drop them. Do you understand?
Yeah, I get you.
There's no reason why I can't legally carry a torch.
Of course. Yeah.
But due to the Prevention of Crime Act, hold on, this is a UK law. Let me see if I can remember. I've got it written in one of my.
See, this is how I know you're a good teacher, because you're telling people.
They have to know.
You've got to learn the mindset as well as anyone will learn the physical bit, you know? The mindset's important. Go on, tell me about this.
Very much important. So this is, for anyone who wants to go and check, the Prevention of Crime Act of 1953.
Right.
This was when in the UK, the banning the possession of weapons for all civilians. Three categories. So all these things you can find in the .gov, or they're researchable to check and that. But hold on, what's going on? You have to understand this. So you know, you can't walk out of your house with a truncheon or knuckle dusters and not know that. Do you know what I mean? You can't legally walk out of your house when you're going out.
I love it. You know what? I love the sound of Urban Krav Maga. And I looked it up for you just now. Do you want to hear what it is in Hebrew?
Say if you get stopped or if you have to use it or so. I got it for self-defense. Contact, isn't it? I might say it.
Gotcha. I was just saying, sorry, I think we cut out for a minute, but I was saying I looked up at the Hebrew thing for you of what Krav Maga means. It means contact combat. That's all. It just means contact combat. So yeah.
Contact combat.
That's all.
And that it goes. I know we're going to talk about traditional martial arts and combat
in
sport
another
podcast.
Definitely.
But I'm from karate, and karate, we have something called kumite, and it's to entangle hands.
Yes.
Karate is the empty hand, the way of the empty hand. Karate do, the way of the fist and all of that. So they've always got a meaning. Like when you say uke, right? Uke is block in Japanese. So in karate, when you do karate, you always say age uke, jidan age uke, this uke. And for years, it was bam, a collision, bam. That's how you block, bam, collide. Which is not wrong if you're young and I'm
stronger
saying
all that.
Yeah. But even if you are young and you want to preserve yourself for longer years, listen to the word. What does uke in Japanese mean? Ukeru means to receive something. Okay, so uke. Now, when you block, you don't collide, but you receive. So you're able to do and just having that understanding before you start to study Krav Maga or whatever, it gives you a different outlook.
Yeah.
Also, when you try to use certain things from your traditional martial art, which are not high volume, high percentage used stuff in the real world, it starts to crumble. And again, you have to revert to your barbaric self.
Got it. Yeah. And you don't want to have to resort to that. I love the sound of Krav, man. Where do I find you in your school? Where do you teach? If you want to tell people
know what?
They might be interested.
At the moment, I'm the walking school, right? And I've got one senpai who's been training with me for a few years, who will be joining me fully. He helps teach here and there. But I teach at a gym every Saturday and sometimes throughout the week. A gym in Battersea Bridge called Stars Gym.
Brilliant. What time is that? Because I'm going to put that in the end of the little notes in the podcast.
Yeah, it's usually at the moment we've got 1 o'clock to 2:30, sometimes 3.
Nice. Yeah.
We're going to have the earlier class back, and we used to have 2 classes at a Saturday. Personal sessions. Anyone can contact me on IntelligentDefence. You can get all the details on that page.
Nice.
I'll travel within reason.
I like it. So that's in the London area, isn't it? So people outside of London, if you're outside of London, far out, how do you find a good school and stuff?
Far out.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say so anywhere in the UK.
Yeah.
If you can't find me Intelligent Defence.
Yeah.
First off, I would first recommend, and this isn't just because of loyalty to them. I know that the mentality, urban Krav Maga. Look for an urban Krav Maga instructor, because I don't know how many there are across the UK at the moment, but some in Birmingham, some in Manchester, lots more in London. So you look for that first, and if you can't, something that any Krav Maga, all the basis. The basic building block foundations and mentality will teach. Get any Krav Maga book on Amazon or on abebooks.com or wherever you can to help change the mindset.
I got it. That's good, because we're running low on time, so I wanted to ask you how other people can learn from you or from different places, where to look. So it's urban Krav Maga. To look, that's the general vibe to look for. And for you, if you want to do Krav Maga with Intelligent Defence, Saturday at Stars Gym, which is Battersea, isn't it? 1 p.m. to 2:30. Nice.
And like I said, because I'm the walking school and I'm trying to keep it as urban as possible.
Yeah,
it's nice to train in the gym sometimes.
But you train in the street as well.
We train.
That's what you mean.
In places like in alleyways,
behind
the train stations, in the shop, because these
realistic.
The realistic things. It's going to be most people's lifestyles. Like you said, some people I'm training, like you can see, they've never had an altercation in their life. They probably never are going to, really, because of now they're much more aware. But let's say you had to get off the train at some train station late because you had to work late at work and of opportunity, just because you're there. The person wasn't even trying to rob you or be an arsehole, but just because you're there.
Yeah, why not?
You know, so we understand. Maybe you don't go out the barriers that way.
Yeah, you can see, you can sense.
You already start to make yourself a plan.
Gotcha. Yes.
You know what I mean?
And you teach all that, don't you, as well?
You teach things like that. It's more what would happen to you. A good Krav Maga school to me, or instructor, would
get you ready for that.
It will get you ready for that, but will also teach not just subject matter, but teach people.
Yes.
Because everyone's blueprint psyche is different, so they take to things differently. People learn differently. Some people are kinetic learners. Some people are audio, visual. Do you know what I mean? But if you're not teaching military Krav Maga, you should be teaching people and not just the subject matter.
I understand.
And all these things to do with the law and shutting it down.
That's important. Responsibility. Oh, brilliant. Because we're out of time now. Sorry, Obodai. So
that's cool, man.
So it's urban Krav Maga.
It's been nice.
Nice. You're so knowledgeable on this stuff, so I can't wait to do the other weeks on traditional and law. But for now, it's urban Krav Maga, intelligent defense. I love it. I've learned something today because I really want to listen today to figure it all out. You know,
the Krav Maga for about a decade and 3 years now, maybe.
Nice.
And I've been teaching it for about 7 to 8
I think people should check out your videos as well, Intelligent Defense on Instagram and stuff.
You know, if they go on Instagram, Intelligent Defense, you'll get my email address from there.
I'll put it all in the blog thing.
You know,
I'm going to put it in the blog so people contact you, because I think I want people to contact you if they're going to do it.
I can send you pictures. I can send you a picture of my business card as well. So that's got my number on there as well. Nice. So
let's do it.
The number that you can leave a message to or WhatsApp to, and then. Like I said, I train many different people in different places.
I like it.
Rich people, you know, people from the States, teachers, lawyers. Everyone. I do work for the
It's councils. For everyone then. It's for everyone.
It's for everyone.
Yeah, it's important to know.
Not just Krav Maga. Martial art is for the human.
Should be.
It's for the human being. It's for everyone on this planet.
I love it, man. Well, we're out of time now, so I've got to go. But thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to the next one. But otherwise, remember,
Yeah. I've got the little
agendas. I'm looking forward to it. Week on week, we're going to hit people with different martial arts, different rules and laws. It's going to be good.
Yeah, man,
but for now, I want everyone to remember urban Krav Maga, intelligent defense, and Obodai Tetteh. Thank you. That's awesome.
Battersea Bridge, Saturday afternoons.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Nice. I like it. All right, brilliant. I'll give you a call after this. Thanks so much. See you soon. Bro. Cheers. Bye.